Grigori, come over here. I think I found it.
Come closer. Do you know what you have found? I'll tell you my story. This skull was once my mother's. These bones were once my family. The blood our family spilled marked the beginning of the most violent century the world has ever known. Mama, why did they hate us so much? And why did they hate our friend, Father Grigori Rasputin? He was my savior, my Merlin, my wizard. Father Grigori was magic.
Grigori, what do you see?
I see a flower.
Grigori, what do you see?
Love.
Holy Mother, Virgin, she is love.
Here's my turn.
Come closer.
He doesn't know. He has no magic.
Wait. You stole Yegorov's horse.
What are you raising, a child or a devil?
Grigori, come here. Apologize.
Why? Forgive me, but let him deny it, Father.
Let him deny it.
Yes.
Let him deny it.
It's not true.
Let him deny it.
I bought that horse. It's my horse. Now do my heart.
God is good.
Hey, you. They say you are a wizard.
They say you're an imbecile.
Tell me, what do I have?
Behind my back.
A coin, a book, a leaf, a pipe, a rock, the Archbishop's balls.
I told you, he's all dried up.
Yeah.
Gather another load by nightfall, or lose your pay.
Hey!
Father Grigory said the Holy Mother asked him to help me. No matter what people said about him later, I know better, because he came to St. Petersburg and he saved my life.
She became the mother of God himself. She carried him in her arms. She nourished him with her milk. Who can describe the greatness of the Virgin Mother of God?
I saw her. I saw her. The sky was empty. Then silver, then gold. Her eyes were purple, and her skin was ivory. And she reached out her hand and blessed me.
Who are you?
Grigory Rasputin from Bakrovsk.
Why are you here?
The Mother of God, she told me to come here.
Many come here claiming to have seen the Virgin.
She touched me. Here.
Some said the bishop was hypnotized. Some said he had seen the truth. All of St. Petersburg was talking about this day.
Bless me. The Virgin has touched him.
There was little hope for me. Me, Alexei, sovereign heir, Tsarevich to the Russian throne. God help me.
He will. He will.
How much Mama prayed that God would forgive her, for it was she who carried my disease in her blood.
Your Majesty, I know of a holy man who can heal.
What a wretch. Disgusting.
Your Majesty, the monk from Siberia is here.
Mom. Don't be frightened. Christ is with you. Don't weep anymore. Everything passes. Why is your heart so heavy? Do you have faith? There's no reason to suffer. The Lord bless his faithful servant, Alexandra Fyodorovna.
This is Father Grigory from Siberia.
Papa.
He's come to bless Alexei.
The Tsarevich is sleeping.
My blessings are powerful.
No, just a moment.
He's sleeping, Father.
Grandpa.
Alexei, this is Father Grigori. He has come to bless you. Father, quickly.
How is your leg?
Did you tell him?
It hurts.
Oh, now, that's enough. Derevienko, lead him out.
No more opiates for this boy.
Take him.
Do you like to sail?
Yes.
The sea brings comfort. And the waves, they talk. The sun shines on the water as it gently rises. You can see the face of God. If you look at the sun, your soul forgets everything as you wake from the dream of life's worries. For the joy lifts your heart, and your soul sees the wisdom of life and beauty indescribable. Is the pain gone?
Yes.
There now. Go to sleep. Sleep. I'm telling you.
Something to drink?
The Madeira, if you have it.
Who told you about the Tsarevich's leg?
The Mother of God. Her voice blooms like a kiss in my ear and then grows till it hurts my body and tears at my ears until I want to cry enough. She told me how your boy suffered. I know his blood is diseased. I don't know why I was chosen. I'm just a poor, stupid man. Pray to her, Mama, Papa. God is good.
The Prime Minister. The German ambassador's here.
Peter.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
This is Father Grigori, Prime Minister Stolypin. And thank you so much for coming, Father. Shall we see you downstairs?
Man's drunk as a boiled owl.
Thank you, Father. I'll call for a motor.
Does the wretch drink wine with the Empress? Does the wretch rest his face in her lap?
How else would you have known about Alexei's leg?
Gossip, hearsay.
You saw him limp from the bed. He took his pain. What is it, Nicky?
There has been another bombing. It's Stolypin thinks it's the electrical workers. And anyway, they want another meeting.
It's a plot to undermine you, to make you look weak and start more trouble.
Smile. I never see you smile. Do you remember the little cottage we stayed in when we visited your family in Germany? And the picnics we used to have, and the songs we sang under the chestnut tree.
What in the world made you think of that?
And how those fishermen splashed us with their oars that didn't know who we were. We were so close. And how we never, ever wanted to leave. You are locked in the house. The key has been lost. And now you must stay there forever.
God bless the Tsar! God!
Do you know the saying, from my youth up, the lust of my flesh has tormented me, Lord Jesus Christ, do not condemn me therefore. Do you know it?
Look. It's a miracle. Oh.
Papa!
Alexei, how did this happen?
The Holy Man did it! I want to show the girls.
What's this?
Morning, Dr. Butkin. He killed me! The Holy Man killed me! It's all gone! He took it all with him! How? With magic!
Like Baba Yaga?
Like a good wizard! Like Jesus Christ!
The probate. It's known to slow the flow of blood in some hemophiliacs. I started using it last week.
But Alexei was cured last night, Doctor, not last week.
But these things often take time, sir.
Who are you, really?
The infinite.
Well, next time your infancy goes to the palace, ask the Tsarina if I might borrow a crown.
I will see her today.
Grigory Rasputin.
Her Imperial Majesty, the Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna wishes to see me.
Yes.
Now, call me a liar.
days on my knees, yet you have healed my son in minutes.
Do you have faith, Mama?
I pray, I fast.
In your heart, do you have it?
I try.
Answer the question.
I don't know.
Then get on your knees and beg, like a peasant with your knees in the dirt.
How dare you!
Like a beggar, or a snake, or a thief. You are the reason the little one suffers. You doubt the divinity of God. Your prayers mock his name. Every time the boy screams, it is your knife in his body. Mama, God cursed your son. Only he can cure him. Do doctors listen to God? Answer. No, the disease will leave him. The Holy Mother promised, but only if you believe in her mercy. Cherish her name. Don't you see? God has sent me. The child isn't helpless, but he can do nothing in his weakness. He doesn't need medicine. He needs a pony, a sled. We may pray to God on our knees, but we also pray in joy, in laughter, and in love.
Father, I have premonitions.
Of what?
Terrible things.
Tell me.
My husband does not want to rule.
Wait. Watch. The miracle is yet to come. Let him be. And go.
Father Gregory set me free with his magic. I could play with my sisters and teacher in the park again. For the first time, Mama could believe in me as the next Tsar of Russia. I had all that I wanted. What did others have? No food, no coal. Some wrapped papers on their feet instead of shoes. Papa said this is how God had willed it. I know that some called Papa Nicholas the Bloody, but those were his enemies.
Who is that?
I wanted to say good night.
Kevin. Dithering. So, how are we?
Good. Are you going to be working all night again?
Probably.
Why do you work so hard?
Because I love Russia and I love her people.
But you don't love the revolutionaries. Olga said so.
No. They killed Granddaddy, Alexei. And Uncle Sergei.
Why don't you give them what they want?
Because they want the throne. And God gave that to me, and only God can take it away.
Father Gregory could protect it for us.
Oh, I'll protect it for you, Alexei. As my father protected it for me. I promise.
Mama and Papa were so happy on the day when they could show me to everyone. We didn't tell them who we had to thank for this miracle.
Me?
And what do you know about love?
Olga's in love. I'm not. I saw you flirting. So do you.
Who is he? You can tell me. I'm a man of God.
Well, he's a Marine Guard on the Standard.
What do we know about this Rasputin?
He has a fondness for strong Madeira, cheap steak, and gypsy prostitutes.
We don't know if he talks to God or to the devil.
After 12 years of torture, I have peace.
And what if he were to talk to the press about Alexei's condition? That the next Tsar of the Russias could bleed to death by pricking his finger on a rose bush. Handing the revolutionaries more ammunition.
Nikki, help me.
I love you.
Father, would you offer a prayer?
A morsel of bread is more precious to men than a mountain of diamonds and gold. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Tatiana, pass the bread.
Yes, Mom.
Perhaps our next Tsar will be called Alexei the Terrible.
You know, children, when Father Grigori made his pilgrimage to St. Petersburg, he traveled 1,000 miles, all on foot.
Yes, I walked and walked and walked all day, sometimes 3 days without food. I worked with the laborers and I prayed by the river, and I never once touched my flesh. But I was young then, and I have since learned that although the soul may belong to God, the flesh belongs to us.
Have you been to Mount Athos in Greece?
Yes. It's a simple place, no gold or silver, but pretty nonetheless. When I arrived, I went for a walk through the woods, and suddenly I heard breathing. Through the bushes, I saw 2 monks, naked as nature, one behind the other.
Come with me. Palace, it is our home. I insist you treat it with respect.
When you spit in the country, it lands in the dirt. Here, it lands on somebody's head.
The Empress likes you. A great deal. In fact, she has opened her heart. It is a fragile heart. It is easily broken.
Without me, the little one will die. I see more blood. I have his pain. You will need me.
I think that is enough.
I didn't choose to be holy, Papa. It frightens me, too.
You will wait here for an escort.
to celebrate 300 years of Romanov rule, our great dynasty, anointed by God. One day I will be emperor and autocrat of all the Russias, Tsar of Moscow, Kiev, Vladimir, Kazan, of Poland, of Siberia, of Georgia, Grand Duke of Lithuania. But what I thought was the beginning turned out to be the beginning of the end.
Find Father Grigory.
Father Grigory!
Maria, hurry!
Find a real priest.
Lord, have mercy upon me. Christ, have mercy.
Grigory? Grigory Rasputin, wake up.
Grigory. Please help him.
God, hear me now, for the peace and tranquility of Holy Russia, for the good of its people. Spare the life of this child. Father Grigory is here. Remember the sun shining on the water. Remember the face of God in the waves. Remember the pain as it leaves your body. Remember the joy Mama. Open your eyes. Alexei. Open your eyes. Alexei. Open your eyes.
Very impressive.
You'll always fail because your soul is dead.
I have performed many autopsies in my time, but I've never located a soul.
And how many memories or emotions have you found?
The future of Russia is in your hands.
The man is a first-class hypnotist.
Were we in the same room, Doctor? Did we see the same thing?
By hypnotizing the boy, he lowers his blood pressure, slowing the flow of the blood itself.
What I saw was a miracle.
The mind is capable of fantastic things. The man is soothing. The boy likes him. There's nothing more to it than that. Sir, forgive me. I think it's about time the people knew the truth about your son's health. People are talking. The papers are making up all kinds of stories to explain this man's presence in the palace.
I don't care, Doctor. He saved my son.
This is his new address. I want you to post round-the-clock surveillance and record everything. And begin immediately. The story of my life. And although I am a poor man with no learning, I have already performed great services for the crown. What services?
The Empress has been under a great deal of psychological pressure.
So what are you saying?
She's very vulnerable.
Father Grigori, they say you are holy. I'm a believer. Princess Marisa Ivanovna. This is for you.
I forgive you. Sit. Why are you here?
My husband.
What's all this noise? You think that you love him, and I see that you do, but when night comes and you climb into bed, he leaves you alone.
Yes.
He has someone else who puts her black hair on his chest and listens to his heart beat in her ear.
How do you know this?
And I see a tall man with the face of an eagle and a jacket that is covered in ribbons and gold. He wants your heart. But he has a wife of his own. What a web we weave.
What else do you know?
The greatest gift in the world is love. Only through love can we enter the gates of heaven, you understand? But pride is a sin, and you are so full of pride. What is the greatest sin of pride? Chastity. Repentance is very pleasing to God, but before we can repent, we first have to sin.
What?
God has the answers. He has the key.
No.
Humble soul is a holy soul. Humble yourself. Kiss me. Your joy means more to me than this. Than this. I would cut these wrists if it would give you a single moment of happiness. Think of God, my angel. He gave us this pleasure. I talk to God. Kiss me, and you kiss him. Lie with me, and you lie with him. I know you're frightened. I'm frightened too. But when we kiss holy things, we should kiss with the soul and the heart, as well as the mouth. So let me kiss you.
Certain ladies, I use the term loosely, have arranged a club whereby they take turns in his bed. He says it will put them closer to God. Princess Marisha Ivanovna, your own cousin. People say that Tsarina knows peace only with her head on his shoulders. This man is doing more damage to the dynasty than 100 revolutionaries ever could. Why do you need him? If the
Tsarevich has nothing to do with it.
They're all over the city. I love my country. And I love you. But this man must go. Enough is enough.
Nicky, don't you see? God is testing us
No.
to see if we are worthy.
Alex, this man is a danger to Russia.
Oh.
Look at this. I'm sorry, Alex. He is a danger to me and to you and to Alexei.
Nicky, you do this, and you are spitting at God.
Then God will forgive me.
But I never will.
If you won't be decent, then I have to ask you to leave.
Me?
Yes.
The Empress kisses my hand. I am her savior and her angel.
I am the Empress's nephew.
Very pretty. But I prefer women.
Are you saying you sleep with the Empress?
I am a great man. A great big man.
His Majesty will see you now. can't be hypnotized, so don't bother.
Do you realize what you have done to my family?
All my life, I've had nothing. Now I have too much, but I never hurt anyone, Papa.
You have hurt me.
Everything I do, I think of God.
I dread to imagine what he must think of you.
You are ordered to leave St. Petersburg in 24 hours.
I want to stay here. There are thieves all around you, Papa. They want to rob me of your love. The day has come for our country, Papa. We will all drown in blood. Oceans of tears, oceans of blood. Millions will die. These are not my words.
Leave, or you'll be arrested.
Death is behind him. There it is. You see it? It will have him within a month.
This is enough.
There is more than just God, Papa. I am nothing and everything, but I have seen the infinite. I walk with Pan, with Eros, with Brahma, with Vishnu, with Isis, with Anshar and Belial. Why was I chosen? I don't know. But I am Russia. I have taken your pain. I have your pain.
Alex, you are not alone. I love you.
Majesty.
Prime Minister. Sergei.
I apologize, Your Majesty. But the heir to the Austrian Empire has been assassinated.
Assassinated?
By a Serb in Sarajevo. The Austrians will probably invade Serbia.
We cannot be indifferent to the fate of our Serbian allies. Make that clear to the Austrians.
But if we threaten the Austrians, they will ask the German Kaiser to threaten us.
Cousin Willie? He would never agree to go to war against Russia. Against me? Now, I shall ask him to persuade the Austrians to calm down.
And if he refuses?
I think Your Majesty should put our forces on a war footing immediately.
I am not prepared to send hundreds of thousands of Russian soldiers to their deaths.
It may not come to that. But your cousin has long dreamt of war. Now he has an excuse.
Death was behind him, just as Father Grigori had said. What Papa feared the most happened. Germany, Mama's own country, became our enemy. Oceans of tears, oceans of blood, Father Grigori said. We would all drown.
Your Majesty, how can you take control of the army? Your only training is as a cavalry officer.
How can you run both, the army and the government?
All military and political blame will be aimed directly at you.
Your Majesty, the unrest in our streets is as alarming and as dangerous now as the problems at the front.
Your Majesty, you must stay in St. Petersburg.
Dear Holy Mother, I'm so afraid. Please send us Father Grigori. Papa needs him. And I need him too.
God has seen your tears and heard your prayers. It doesn't hurt anymore, does it? Watch the pain go away like a white turtle does. There, you see it fly out the window. It's all gone. Now go to sleep, my boy. Sleep. Sleep. Sleep.
It stopped.
How is he?
Father Grigori has healed him.
But I thought he was in Siberia.
Yes. I spat at God once. Never again.
I know that all have desired war of you, even the most faithful. You are the Tsar, the father of the people. Do not let the fools triumph. Do not let them throw themselves and us into the abyss.
My precious darling, I arrived at headquarters on Tuesday morning. The situation is worse than imaginable. Our men are facing German machine guns with sticks in their hands. They wait for their fellow soldiers to die so that they can have a gun. As to the revolutionaries at home, I say drown them all. How I wish Stolypin was still with us. The Germans have already struck at Riga, while others march towards Galicia. My generals and I cannot agree on where to commit our forces.
We could go north, towards Riga, but it's already winter, and that alone should prevent the Germans from settling in. The south is vulnerable, especially Galicia.
Should we move north or south? Father?
North.
Grigory thinks that you order advance towards Riga.
It was seen in the night.
This message is prompted by what he saw in the night.
Senseless war! 2 million Russians have already died at the front! With the help of this Siberian madman! The Tsarina runs our government into ruin! How much longer do we allow these bloodthirsty Romanovs to spit in our faces?
Have I done the right thing? Send me a sign. Please. Mama, the Holy Mother won't answer my prayers. She's turned her back on me. Help me. I'm so scared.
When did you last see him?
Weeks.
Down with bloody Nicholas! On the German back!
If we may suppose that our beloved Empress has been led astray by that dark one who surrounds her, do we not as Russians have a duty to implore our sovereign to shut her up in a monastery before she ruins him, the Romanov dynasty, and all of Russia? We can no longer stand by as this man of God defiles our nation. If the name of the Tsar means anything to you, if you hope to save Russia from the revolutionaries who threaten her, then Grigory Rasputin must be stopped.
I have something to show you here. If you follow me over here, now look at these figures. I want you to understand what they mean. This is most important. Please.
I'll do anything to stop him. For my country.
Did you see the vision? Don't lie.
I saw her. She gave me my power. How else could I have known about the boy?
Did you see the vision?
I swear.
In your mind or before your eyes? In your mind or before your eyes?
It's the same.
Don't you know the difference?
I saw her, that's all that counts.
Say where you saw her. Say it!
I'm not mad.
Where did you see her?
It's the same.
Answer!
Here. Look what I've done for you.
Oh, look, indeed.
I saw her. She came to me. I have magic.
From the devil?
Mama! Look at me, please. I leave this behind. What?
I'm sorry to bother you at this hour. This is Prince Felix Yusupov. My wife, Irina, is very ill. She asks if you'll come and see her.
No.
Please, Father, I beg you.
I can't.
Well, you won't say no to the niece of the Tsar.
I will come in 3 days.
But she leaves for Crimea in the morning. I'll send a motor. Father.
Then do it.
How many does he have to eat?
One of these cakes will kill him instantly.
I'm so glad you could come. This is my parents' domain. My rooms are in the basement. Irina is entertaining some friends. They will soon leave.
I thought she was dying.
She is, of a headache. What do you drink?
Madeira.
Ah! We have some from our very own vineyard. To Russia.
To Russia. No, nor a wine. What are you gaping at? So where is she?
I'll be right back.
Is he dead?
I can't understand this.
Did he eat one?
He ate 3.
Pure cyanide. I swear. In his wine.
All of it.
Go.
Разгуляется, не летай, орел, близко к озималье.
Bravo.
I know a brothel that has only gypsies. We'll go there. With God in mind and mankind in the flesh. I can taste the barrel. I'm going.
But Irina is coming.
I mean, she's coming. Maybe she flew by and I missed her.
But she leaves in the morning. She'll be gone for 6 months.
Then get me some more Madeira.
It's upstairs.
Die! Die! We're all going to die.
Maybe he is holy.
It's impossible.
He drank it all?
And he's dancing. Let him go then.
He can't leave this house alive.
This cabinet is beautiful. Can I take it?
He's dead.
Get the bag.
Are you insane? Get some air! Shoot him! Kill him!
The pain. It's over. I leave this behind because I will soon die. Know that if I am killed by my brother peasants, then you have nothing to fear. But if I am murdered by nobles, if your relatives cause my death, then no one, not you or your children, will remain alive for more than 2 years. You will all be killed by the Russian people. Your friend, Grigori.
Yes?
Excuse me, Your Majesty. They just found the body.
Who did it?
They're holding Vladimir Purishkevich, Vice President of the Duma, as well as Prince Felix Yusupov. I'm so sorry. Your own family.
From that day on, Mama never smiled again. We buried Father Grigori in a secret place near the palace. His murderers were exiled. Mama said they were not punished hard enough for what they had done to us. They took away the only friend we had. Papa said what is given by God cannot be taken by man. Why was God looking away when Papa had to give up the throne?
Go this way. This way. Все поправляй.
Take them out.
Все поправляй.
We are all going to die. They killed Aunt Ella, Uncle Sergei, Igor, Konstantin, Oleg, all our relatives who could not escape. The new rulers made us prisoners in a house in Siberia. Today it is 18 months since Father Grigory died. Mom.
Don't be scared.
I'm not scared, Mama.
Then I won't be. trust in God.
I trust you.
I've made so many mistakes. I'm so sorry.
You always love me more than anyone. I'll always love you more than anyone.
Sometimes you don't know where to look for answers. Sometimes you don't know what to believe.
You remember the chestnut tree? And the fisherman?
With their oars.
And how we never, ever wanted to leave.
Get ready!
In here. We're going to take your picture.
Why?
There are rumors in Moscow which say that you are all dead. Over there.
Can we at least have some chairs?
Chairs. For crimes against Russia, the Ural Soviet has hereby sentenced you to death. Your life is finished.
What?
Sometimes we have to believe in something. Sometimes we have to believe in magic.
Is the pain gone?